How to make decision making in your badass world super simple. I always like to say that badass millionaires like you and like me were decision making athletes. And like athletes in pro or amateur, as a decision making athlete, you've got to train like an Olympian. You have to train like an NFL player, a NHL player, a major league player, an NBA player, a UFC fighter. We're decision-making athletes, and the better you become, decision-making is a muscle, by the way, right? Decision-making is a muscle. If you're not good at decisions, you can improve that muscle with repetitions. Good morning. And that's one of the secrets, is decision-making is a muscle. So what I love to do is constantly remind myself that I'm a decision-making athlete. The better decisions I make, the faster I make them, the more I'm going to have a chance to win. Not every decision is going to be a good one, but with a clear head and a clear heart and a clear mind, I have a better chance to win. So I want to share with you a story that's connected to me selling my world headquarters home and office a couple of days ago. I shared with you yesterday the story about how my email list from the insurance business was actually the money that I bought my latest world headquarters office. And on Sunday, a couple of days ago, I sold that office back in Canada. It's just a brand new home that I used for the last 4 years to work in. Nobody else there, just a table and some stuff in the kitchen. But I used that brand new home to build Badass Millionaire, to build this company with Marc-Andre and Leanne over the last 4 years. So what's interesting is I got the $500,000 to buy that house back in 2019, 2020 from selling my email list to the company that bought my insurance agency. And I sold my 62,000 person email list for $500K. 500 grand for my email list, and they've never, ever, as far as I know, even used it. But this shows you the power and the wealth and the future bank and the present bank in a good email list. Like, not only will it feed you week after week, day after day, month after month, but when you want to walk away in the sunset for good, like I've done on multiple occasions, you have an asset, an absolute asset that could be worth tens, if not hundreds, if not even millions of dollars, depending upon how valuable the email list is that you've built. It's your king, it's your queen, it's the whole shebang of marketing in 2024. Your email list and your relationship with the list and the products that you sell the list to help people. So it's interesting with this deal is it almost didn't go through. Krista and I stood to make, some good money on this house. Admittedly, because of the China virus, the house that we bought it for $550. So I took the $500K and I added in my own $50K, and I bought the house for cash for $550K. And I used it as an office for the last 4 or 5 years. So the big part of this is that 6 months ago, I was talking with my dad, and he said, how many properties do you own right now? And I said, well, we own 7. And he said, what the hell you need 7 properties for? He says, get rid of all the properties that aren't bringing you in monthly cash flow, that aren't passive income, like your rental properties. You can keep those, but that office you're using, he says, you live in Naples half the year, you don't get any rent. He said, you don't really need it anymore. You're working from home. You have your own office. He said, why don't you sell that? The market's on fire. So I took my dad's advice, and I did exactly that. I was just like, okay. So I listed it about 5 months ago. And I bought it for $550, and I listed it for a little under 800 grand. And I just forgot about it. We came here to Naples in January. How are you? And I get a phone call about a week ago from my realtor pal. And he says, Michael, I got a showing. There's an older lady that wants to see the home. Is that okay? Of course it's okay. He takes her through it. He says, wow, she really loves the house. It's in a great neighborhood right in town. It's in a retirement community. It's safe. She doesn't drive anymore. And she just lost her husband 2 days before Christmas. So I'm like, okay, well, let me know how it goes. Comes back to me a day later after the initial viewing. And he says, oh, she loved it, but she just can't afford it. She simply cannot afford it. She can't do that. The price you're asking, $797, can't do it. And it's just too bad. But with her husband passing away 2 days before Christmas unexpectedly, she's never been the person in the family that does the money kind of thing. Like she's not the, she's not responsible or was not responsible for these types of things before. So I have a lot of empathy for people that find themselves at an older age losing their husband or losing their wife, and all of a sudden it all falls down on them. So I found I have a lot of empathy for anybody that finds themselves in that situation, because I think eventually we'll all find ourselves in that situation if we're not the first to go. So I said, listen, I can't reduce it by that much money, but let me know if anything changes. So a few days go by and we're down here in Naples, and I get a call last Friday, which is 4 or 5 days ago. And my pal says, listen, she really wants this home. She's in the process of selling her own. Her son and daughter are helping her. She's 80 years old. And her husband handled all of this kind of thing. And she's nervous, she's scared. And it's just the reality of the situation. And it's a perfect place for her. So I don't negotiate with myself or anything like that. I listen to the story. And then he says to me, they think they can spend more because she's selling her home and all this other stuff, and her kids are helping her. So I'm like, well, that's great. I said, I'm willing to listen and work with anybody. So it's interesting. We go back and forth on this last weekend. When you sell anything, I'm not a big details guy when it comes to that. Like, I have numbers. If you hit them, we have a deal. I sold my insurance agency without any hiccups. I sold my barbershop without any hiccups. I sold my hockey team without hiccups. Like, I build my businesses from day one to sell them. So I don't fall in love with my companies. I don't fall in love with my employees. I don't fall in love with my hockey players. I don't fall in love with my houses and my investment properties, none of it. So I'm able to make clear-headed decisions. And one of the decisions that Krista and I made is we're going to help this lady out if we can. Because, making money, I can make money in my sleep. I've trained myself over the last 35 years. I sure as shit better be able to, with all the great mentors I've had and all the books I've read and all the wonderful people that have blessed my life. I sure as hell better be able to make decisions that aren't based solely on money. So that's what we do. We go back and forth, and she's really offering more than she was comfortable with. We go back and forth on the terms, and we finally, Krista says, what are we going to do? And I said, listen, I said, I have a rule in business which now applies to this home. I said, I'm always going to do the right thing. And I'm always going to trust my intuition. I'm always going to trust my golden gut. And you do the same. And then we'll make a decision on this, this weekend on what we're going to do. We don't drag things out. We don't negotiate people into the ground. We don't try and, have it a win-lose situation ever. Because I believe in karma. I believe in helping people. I believe in win-win. And I believe that, the way you conduct yourself is everything. in terms of future luck and future abundance and future this and that. So it takes, like most deals, it takes a turn for the worst on Saturday a few days ago. And my real estate pal comes back and he says, he goes, Michael, he says, listen, unfortunately, she can't meet your demand of closing when they close it. I want to close it within 60 days, right? That's a lot as it is. He said she can't close on it. You know, she can get the money, but she can't close on it. Not even close to what you want. In fact, it's going to be 90 to 120 days. So Krista she was upset about this. She said, you know, my wife is the most compassionate and empathetic person you could ever meet. Unlike me, she sees the very best in people. And, you know, we were having dinner on Saturday and out by the pool, and she's like, this is really frustrating and disappointing. And, you know, she said, I really wanted that lady to have that home, to have World Headquarters become her home. It's brand new, never been lived in. This person will be able to do anything she wanted with it, make it her home. And there's not many homes for sale in where we live in Canada. It's just beautiful, an incredible community. So with all that said, I went on with it. We had dinner on Saturday. We're out by the pool. We're having all this, the regular day. And then on Sunday night, actually it was Saturday night, that same night, we were in bed doing our gratitude ritual. If you don't know what that is, just before we turn out the lights every single night, Krista and I always say to each other, what are some things you're grateful for today? And then she asked me the same thing, and we'll always say 4 or 5 or 6 things that we're grateful for. They're not big things, they're different every day. I'm grateful for a roof over my head. I'm grateful for somebody power washing my home. I'm grateful for America. I'm grateful for the farmers. Grateful for our military. I'm grateful for a glass of water. Whatever it is, changes every night. So we do that, and then my wife never does this, but after we're done that, she doesn't turn off the light. She says, Michael, she said, what are we going to do about the house? You know, we don't want to keep it until then. We don't want to keep it till the summer or the spring. What are we going to do about our house? And I got out of bed like I always do before I shut off the lights, and I go in to use the bathroom and to turn off the final lights. And it was just incredible how when you govern by your principles and your values, how seemingly tough decisions actually are very simple. The only time I've struggled with decisions in my life, and I've struggled a lot, especially as a younger man, is when I didn't govern by my principles. In other words, I was making decisions based on money, or based on emotion, or based on motivation, or revenge, or any of that other nonsense. And I have just a handful of principles that I believe in, that my wife believes in. We have a handful of core values as husband, father, as a person, as a man, as a woman. And when you use your golden gut, you know what I mean? Your golden gut, your stomach. I learned that in pro sport. You use your golden gut. You rarely go against your gut. Your gut will never, ever lead you astray. It's not about data. It's not about analytics. That stuff is a tool. It's not about artificial stupidity. It's about your gut, your golden gut. What's your creator telling you? What's the universe telling you? What is your gut telling you? What is your intuition muscle telling you? And I literally walked into the bathroom. It took me 30 seconds. And I was standing there, and I was just putting my toothbrush away. And I looked in the mirror, the big ass mirror in the bathroom, and I looked myself square in the eye, and I said, what is the right thing to do? That's it. What, Michael, is the right thing to do in this situation? And whether you're a person of God, or your creator, or your universe, or whatever the hell you want to call it, immediately I knew what the right thing to do. I asked myself the right question, which you could use in any part of your life. What's the right thing for us to do? And instantly, my gut, my intuition, my creator, my God, every fiber in my body, I knew exactly what we had to do. And I walked back into the bedroom and I said to my wife, and she has 50% of the decision making, I said, I just asked myself, what's the right thing to do? And I said, in my opinion, that is a simple decision. And she said, what did your golden gut tell you? I said, very simple. That home should be that lady's. That home is supposed to belong to that lady in her 80s who lost her husband 2 days before Christmas. I said, we're in a position where we can work with this person. I said, those 120 days, they'll be here before you know it. I said, if we say yes to this deal, we're getting the money we want. And just because we can't close it to our convenience doesn't make one single difference in our life. The 120 days is no different than 30 days or 90 days. And I said, but you know what? If we pull the rug out from underneath this lady, she's got to start over again. She doesn't know where she's going to live. She'll never find a place in town. She'll be frustrated. She'll be stressed. She'll be worried. And she'll have to start over scratch with her kids trying to find a place. And I said, if we do that to her, I said, shame on us. Shame on us. I said, all we need to show here is a little bit of patience and a little bit of compassion for somebody. Not 1 ounce of sympathy. We're getting the money we want. I said, we're getting a price that we're very happy with. And this woman needs time. And we're in a position to give her time. And I said, it would take a real son of a bitch to pull the carpet out from somebody like this and to pull a dirty trick like that, because maybe you can make more money, or maybe you can pad your bank account, or maybe you can find another buyer that'll close in 30 or 60 days. But I said, you know what? I learned this in the hockey. There's the hockey gods, there's the football gods, there's the money gods, there's the business gods, there's the karma. I believe in that stuff. And I'll tell you right now, if you do the wrong thing in life and you go against your values and your principles, the gods, whatever you want to call it, abundance gods, your creator, the universe, it'll conspire to wipe the floor with you, and you'll fucking well deserve it. I have had my ass kicked 6 ways to Sunday behind the woodshed because I deserved it as a younger man, where I chopped somebody off, or I made a decision out of revenge, or I had a scarcity mindset. And every time I didn't make a decision based on my principles and based on my values, and most importantly, based on what I have been raised to know is right, I got my ass kicked, and I fucking well deserved it. If you're getting your ass kicked, it's because you're not living by your principles, and you're not living by your values, and you're not listening to your golden gut and your intuition and your creator. You deserve to get the floor wiped with you. And that's what my experience was. And it was like this grand piano was lifted off our backs. Not that I was super worried about this at all, but I was like, damn, that feels good. And consequently, I had the best sleep I've had probably all week. I sleep like a log, right? I close my eyes. I live by my principles. I live by my values. I do what's right, and I sleep like a baby. But man, on Saturday night, knowing I was going to get up on Sunday and we were going to tell that lady the house was hers, Oh man, did I ever feel like $1 million? And here's the best part of the story. They expected us to turn her down. Our real estate agent said, Michael, you've given enough. You've given enough. And I was like, how so? And when I talked to Krista, I said, what have we given? We haven't given hardly anything. All we did was is get the price that we want. And then after that, all we did was be asked to give a little bit of time and patience. And you have to be a real son of a bitch to lose a deal over that. And I was so excited because they expected us to come back like a normie and say, nah, we're not going to do it. We're not going to help you. I worked my ass off for 30 years to be in a position where I can make decisions no longer based on just money, where I can make decisions on my principles and my values and my goals and listen to my intuition and my golden gut. So we got up Sunday and I gave my wife Krista the pleasure of letting them know that we in fact have a deal. We're happy with the money, we're happy with the extra time, and that this woman now can put this behind her. She can focus on grieving her husband. She can focus on moving into a beautiful new home. She can focus on living in a community where she can walk to the grocery store or the drugstore, where she's safe, where she doesn't have to lock her doors. And it's all because we showed a tiny, tiny little bit of empathy and patience. That's all it takes. Sometimes it's big things, sometimes it's little things. But you can literally impact other people's worlds for the better by living by your principles, your values, and doing the right thing. I'm closing the doors on Email Millions in the next little while here, emailmillions.coach. These are the types of stories, true stories in your life, experiences, that I show you how to turn into emails that make you rich as sin slowly. I show you how to build a list from 0 to 500 in 90 days. I show you how to capture emails. I show you how to write emails. I write them for you, 52 a week in most cases. I show you how to build a relationship with stories, just like I told you, things that happen to you every day, the coffee shop, the golf club, the supermarket. And I show you how to build products that you can sell that make your life of significance and service. You help people. You send an email, you help people. You send an email, you raise funds, whatever. And I show you how to do it when you're part of my Email Millions mastermind. Both gals and guys, emailmillions.coach. You're about to miss out on the lowest price this will ever be. I've got this priced until the cutoff at $147 a month. That's 4 emails I write a month, 52 a year, plus the trainings for less than a cup of sugar coffee or whatever the fuck those drinks are. And if you don't jump at that, then you're one dumb bunny. Emailmillions.coach, the training I'm doing in the next few days for this month that you can be part of if you're smart enough to join our mastermind, our brotherhood and sisterhood, is how to grow a list from 0, not 1 email, to 500 buyers, email, people that opt in 90 days. You imagine, just visualize having a list of 500 buyers, email buyers, players with money, as Halbert said, in 3 months. Do you think that would change your life? Do you think that would change your bank account? Do you think that would put some mucho fungolas in your pockets, in your jeans? Damn straight it would. That's the training in February. If you must be really smart, or you must be really rolling in it if you don't need that type of training. So email millions.coach below. The link is there. And like I said, time is ticking. You're about to be on the sidelines missing out. I never share these trainings outside of the mastermind. And it's a big loss if you're not part of something like that. So time is ticking. Remember what my dad said, okay? He said, son, the other day, my dad's 90 years old. He said, son, the best is yet to come. And I said, listen, Dad, I said, not only is the best yet to come, but I said, we're just heating up. We're just getting started. If the best is yet to come for you and things are just heating up in your favor, well, guess what? You want to pour some gasoline and fire on 2024? Subscribe at Join the Brotherhood and Sisterhood at emailmillions.coach and see what happens to your personal and business life in the next 90 days. Emailmillions.coach. Remember, live by your principles, make decisions by your values, and always, always, always do the right thing. 2 words that changed my life, 2 words that'll change yours. Be relentless.